the 3rd of March, a total lunar eclipse in the practical Virgo, your fellow Earth sign, provides a dynamic backdrop for the next 6 months. There's always a lot of comments, memes shared when any kind of lunation occurs, but to really understand how to work with them, we need to look at the event chart, the exact moment the eclipse occurs, but particularly from a Taurus viewpoint. This is also the fourth in a series of 7 eclipses between the signs of Virgo and Pisces. But a new eclipse series began on the 17th of February. What does that mean? How do they mesh together? And what will your prospects be around your energy, career, relationships, and work over this next 6 months? I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now. On the screen, Taurus, is your event chart. And just to say, please stay with me. I'm going to give you the opportunity to get your free eclipse workbook to help you through the next half year. So the moon for you is in the charismatic 5th house. The 5th house can be affectionate, it can be playful, but it can be very much to do with where we want to showcase our individual talent. The moon here, however, in Virgo can be very precise. It has the need to be organized. Nothing wrong with that. We can't make the most of our talent if we don't ensure that everything is well structured. But one of the downsides with a Virgo moon is that it can be somewhat perfectionist. And it's important with the cluster of energy in your 11th house, which is very social, but very much to do with your future hopes, which has been joined by the more muscular energies of Mars. It's very important over the next 6 months that expressing yourself as an individual is part of your future plan. So if you're doing something at the moment or aligning with people who aren't quite right for you, it could show up through this eclipse series over the next half year. But the position of the moon is not just in the practical Virgo, it's also in the second decan of the sign, which is subruled by the potentially serious Saturn. So if you have talents, this lunation is asking you to take them seriously at an emotional level. But it is an eclipse that's pretty close to a fixed star called Zosma. And Zosma can be a little melancholic. So if you feel at the moment, particularly in terms of your group dynamics, what friends expect or other people around you makes it difficult for you to glow up and show just how talented and charismatic you can be, a rethink is going to be needed. But this particular lunation, where essentially the sun and the moon are competing, and they, of course, are two very different entities. The moon's much more potentially subjective. The sun is much more foot to the floor, wants things to happen in an energetic way. But they're being intersected fabulously well by the glorious Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, and that's where people think Jupiter's energy comes from, and rightly, because it is very much to do with abundance, self-confidence, and can be good fortune. But the traditional ruler of the sign of Pisces is Jupiter. And Jupiter's in a stunning trine, the most enabling of all planetary aspects, with the sun. And that can in itself be fundamentally fortunate. And Jupiter for you may be in retrograde still to the 11th of March, but it's in your 3rd house. So the way you think, but the way you express your ideas is going to be critical. So although the moon in the second decan with the more somber energies of Saturn may just be a little bit moderating as far as your self-belief about doing something that's for you. For example, if you don't have the love relationship you really want at the moment, the moon's going to make you very connected to that. And however social your life is, or however many benefits you have, if that's not really feeding into you, that could be a point of frustration. So Jupiter's saying, particularly in its sextile with the moon, to keep your vibe high. Don't let that potentially picky, self-critical energy of Virgo, which we all know can be an issue, stop you from really thriving in the way that you want. But be some there may be some changes that you do need to make in order to seize the golden prize, because the partial or annular solar eclipse in Aquarius, the first of a new series on the 17th of February, was really asking you to go with the flow if some of the practicalities in your life do need to flex. But now that you have Saturn and Neptune back in your 12th house, there may be some inner blockages, inhibitions even, or low self belief that could just prevent you from really shining up over this next half year. So, Jupiter can be very important from its Sagittarius energy of being upbeat, but also for its rulership of Pisces. Traditionally, it's about having belief in your higher purpose, your soul energy. And if something does need to shift around your long-term future to align and integrate what you want within your heart, that's something that you really need to take seriously. But Saturn and Neptune in that 12th house may be somewhat of a blockage. It's also possible that since they arrived back into the sign of Aries, Neptune the 26th of January, Saturn on the 14th of February, coming into the exact conjunction on the 20th of February, that you have been thinking about your past. You may have also been thinking about someone from your past. But I want you to know that when it comes to your love life, this particular eclipse is not only blessed by Jupiter, it's also blessed by your ruler Venus, forging a stunning sextile to Uranus. But that Uranus position is saying that you may need to step outside your comfort zone to really get what you want. And Saturn and Neptune could bring those self doubts up if you let them. But if you're prepared to be in the moment, and most of all be flexible, because being a fixed sign is difficult, continuity and familiarity are rather comforting to Taurus people. Uranus has challenged that with you over the last 7 years. Pluto going through Capricorn was also quite provocative. But if you're open to be responsive to how things happen in a fast moving way, particularly with the part of fortune in a part of your chart which is about expansion, Pluto is also the most northerly player in the chart. So transformation around work could be part of this. So, for example, whether it's around your love life, your friendships, your interests, your professional situation, if you're inhibiting letting your moon energy, the fifth house moon energy, really glow up, it is something you need to challenge with this particular lunation over the next half year. On the left of the screen, Taurus, is an opportunity to watch your deep dive video for March. On the right, you can download your lunar eclipse workbook to negotiate this next 6 months. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please see the testimonials below. If you'd like to take advantage of my unique combination reports, you can order your 12-month forecast, but also get your life roadmap report. That gives you searing insights into the patterns that are played out in your life so far. Everyone is totally individual to the person it's produced for. At the checkout, please apply Astro 26 and you'll get 50% off. If you'd like to understand your draconic, soul, or karmic journey, if you go to the checkout, you can order the same combination, but apply Draco 26 and get 50% off.